Good evening. This is a public hearing of the Zoning Board of Appeals for April 14, 2014. At this time, I request that all electronic devices be turned off in our council chambers. Also, any person wishing to speak on behalf of a petition must sign in and address all comments and questions through the chair. Our first order of business is under continuance, ZB 2014-9 for a variance for dimensional requirements at 75 Gate Street. The petitioner seeks a variance to construct two single-family dwellings without meeting the setback requirement for the distance between the two structures pursuant to section 5.1.3 of the zoning ordinance. Good evening, Mr. Flood.
For the record, James Flood, 549 Roger Street, Lowell, representing Bun and Mary LLC. We are here on a continuance. The board had requested that we provide you with a new plan with the topos on it, which we did do. I don't know how you'd like me to proceed or what additional information you would request from me. I think everyone understands what we're asking for. We're asking to construct two single-family homes on that lot, which the zoning allows us to do, but we do not have the 20-foot separation. We only have 9. We're going to tear down that big building in the back that was damaged by fire, which I think will be beneficial to the neighborhood. And, you know, although the neighborhood is mostly multifamily dwellings, there is a house across the street that's a single family, and there's 2 down that's a single family. So it's not out of character with the neighborhood single family homes. I think this would be beneficial to the neighborhood, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that the board might have.
Okay, for the record, we are in receipt of an updated plan this evening that was submitted by council, and we are referring back to the February 28th notes from the city DPD, which we've discussed in previous meetings.
Right.
Anything further to bring to our attention?
I don't have anything new. I think I explained it all the last time we were here. If the board wants any more information from me, I'd be glad to answer any questions. But
okay, thank you. At this time, I'd like to open up to public hearing. Anyone wishing to make comments on this petition? That portion of the hearing is now closed. I wish to open this up to the board members. Mike?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have any comments. The petitioner has returned with what one of the members asked for a month or so ago. And it also includes some revised information about landscaping. So I don't have any comments or questions.
Thank you, Mike. Van?
Through you, Mr. Chairman. All I have to say is I just want to thank the petitioner for being so accommodating to all the needs of the city and to the members, the board members. I think they're here, really, they're only seeking 10-foot of relief. I'm very familiar with Mr. Bun's work. I think his homes will fit the character of the neighborhood well, and he does all his projects he does, it's top-notch performance. So I want to say thank you to the petitioner. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Van. Melissa?
Thank you, and good evening, Mr. Chairman. I actually just was looking at, I wasn't in attendance for the February 28th meeting, but I looked at the elevations. They look great. I have no additional comments or questions at this time.
Thank you, Melissa. And Dennis?
Through you, Mr. Chairman. I have a couple of questions. Thank you for providing the updated document here. I think I just want to do a little housekeeping here because it seems as though they're not ideally suited to the elevations that we presented. So I just want to make sure we have your intent here. The elevations presented seem to provide a exposed concrete foundation wall, I take it. It doesn't appear to be lined with a stone veneer, is that correct?
Say it again?
you want to answer that?
Say it again? No.
So there's a foundation wall at the perimeter of the house and the garage,
Yes.
and it's exposed to a height of maybe 2.5 feet or so. It appears to be simply the concrete foundation wall and not a stone veneer or anything more than just concrete, is that correct?
We don't know what we're gonna go towards, either concrete or veneer. We're not sure yet.
Well, since we're approving this based on what you presented, it doesn't appear to indicate anything but a concrete foundation wall at this point.
Yeah, if we have to do a concrete wall foundation, retaining wall, we were gonna do the concrete.
Are you suggesting you would prefer veneer on it because of?
It's either or.
Okay, I'm speaking about the foundation wall on the house and the garage, not the retaining wall.
Oh, yes, that's gonna be a foundation.
So that's an exposed foundation wall,
Yes.
correct? And it appears that the height that you have proposed here is roughly 2 foot, 2.5 feet?
Yeah,
of
I'm gonna
exposed-
I'm gonna drop the foundation wall up to I'm not gonna bring it up to 8 feet, I'm gonna bring it up to only 6 feet, so we could drop a new wall, so it would bring down the foundation lower, so we can't see the exposed foundation. On the garage side.
What would you like to say you're going to have for an exposed foundation wall then? Is it roughly a foot or
It's gonna be over like a foot and a half.
a foot and a
exposed.
half maximum?
Yes.
Okay. I'm glad to hear you say that because when I look at your graded plan here, it appears as though your finished floor in your home is roughly 8 foot, 1 inch above the garage level that you have indicated at 96.5 or 96 feet 6 inches above grade elevation. So that would place the finished floor of the house roughly at 104.6 or so. And the grade running around the homes is roughly 100. So that would leave roughly 4.5 feet
Yes.
of exposure, which I think is excessive. So one of two things, either raise the grade around the home to hide the foundation wall,
Yes.
or lower the siding to hide the foundation wall. But
Yeah, that was what I was planning to do, probably lower it down and drop it to a knee wall. Or that, we're gonna add grade, like what you just said.
So we can, maybe you'd be acceptable to a condition if the rest of the board of no more than 1 foot 6 inches of exposed foundation wall. Will that work for you?
Is that all right with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Great. The other thing that I'd like to talk about is the retaining wall, which I'm glad to see on this plan here. The grade adjacent to the retaining wall wouldn't require the whole retaining wall to be 4 feet high. So as you approach the street, that retaining wall could follow the grade and simply be roughly a foot above grade rather than 3 feet above grade, if you will.
Yes.
So would you be acceptable to a condition that the retaining wall follow the grade and exceed no more than 12 inches above the adjacent grade?
Yeah, that's fine, we could do that.
Okay,
That's not.
all right. I think that's all I have for comments. I'm glad to see the topo here, and we have the whole story here, so I feel good about it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dennis. Just a few comments. I do want to thank the petitioner and council for spending the time to follow through with the conditions and working with the city and the DPD. Those two conditions, I think, are suitable to both you and the petitioner, Mr. Flood.
Correct, yes.
Okay. I think moving forward, I think that simply in that neighborhood, what we're looking down the line is, it's very nice to see the neighborhood being rebuilt again. And I credit you for moving forward in that direction over there, having a fire and moving in a different direction and working with the city to build a good plan, a good site plan is something that we always look forward to. So I do appreciate that. One other comment I would like to note, Mr. Flood, Melissa will need to abstain from voting tonight as she wasn't able to review the meeting, so you will require a 4 quorum vote to move forward for approval.
Yes,
You-
that's okay. Yeah,
You fine with that?
right.
Okay, any other questions from the board members at this time?
I just have one final question, sorry. The deck in the rear, both decks, the plans indicate a stair off of the deck, but the site plan does not. So is it the intent that you will have stairs accessing the deck from the rear?
Yes.
Did the other plan show?
So they're going to be going this way.
Oh, the house plans did,
House
yeah.
show plan
Yeah,
showed it.
there would be stairs, Mr. McCarthy, coming down. If you'd like those to be shown on the site plan, we can change it, but
The reason I bring that up is because if the deck is roughly 3'6" above grade, which it appears it would be possibly, if you step down maybe a foot into the, or 7 inches into the deck, that's a lot of steps. So they're not touching, but they're nearly touching. The way you have them planned on your floor plans, they're basically going into the side yard adjacent to the next home, if you will. So I don't know if that works. I was thinking that you might want to switch the access to the deck to the opposite side,
I see what you're saying.
so that a mirror image of what's,
Yeah, I could do that too.
and I think that would make more sense as far as that whole grade, just to satisfy that.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
That's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
Any other comments from the board? So, Mr. Flood will be submitting that as a condition as well for the
No
decks,
problem.
for the
It's a
deck
good
stairs as
idea.
well.
Think about it.
Okay, at this point, I request a motion.
I'd like to make a motion for continuance for variance for dimensional requirements for 75 Gate Street, ZB 2014-009, with the following 3 conditions. The first condition is that the exposed foundation wall not exceed 1 foot 6 inches above the adjacent grade. Second condition is that the maximum height of the retaining wall shall not exceed 12 inches above the adjacent grade. And the third condition is that the plans indicating access to the decks be reversed as in a mirror image from what currently is shown in the plans indicated.
I'll second the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Roll call?
Mr. McCarthy,
Approve with conditions.
Mr. Palia,
Approve with conditions.
Mr. Peck,
Approve with conditions.
Mr. Perrin,
Approve with conditions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Flood,
Sign
you've
that,
been
Joe.
approved with conditions. If you could sign a document, Joe, that'd be greatly appreciated. And we wish you the best of luck with your project.
Thanks.
Okay, the next matter we have before us is under new business, ZB 214-12 for a variance for dimensional requirements at 281 River Street. The petitioner seeks a variance to exceed the maximum curb cut in order to accommodate a bus shuttle stop pursuant to section 5.1 and 6.1.10 of the zoning ordinance. Good evening.
Good evening, I'm Jean Robinson with the university, and this is Mike Myers with TEC. How are you folks tonight? I believe that you all have the overview of the plans, but we wanted to ask Mike to provide an overview of our new bus stop and explain the need for the curb cut variance.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Mike Myers from TEC. The North Campus Bus Stop project is one that we've been working collaboratively with the city and the university for some time now. It's been a couple of years. We first started the process by evaluating a number of potential sites, shortlisted to 3 sites, and ultimately selected this site through that collaborative effort. Some of the benefits to this site that led us to this selection, the first is that the project will be entirely on project owned and controlled by the university, so it won't have any right-of-way impacts to private property owners or any property owned by the city. The second reason for selection here is because of the close proximity to Olney Hall, Costello Gym, the newly constructed parking garage, which is located just off the top right of the graphic, and the Riverside lot. We wanted to create more or less of a hub and a location that's off of the city street. By locating the bus stop off of the city street, we're going to limit impacts to traffic flow along Riverside Street, but then we're also going to improve them on University Avenue because we're going to remove the existing bus stop that exists there today. One thing I'd like to point out about this graphic too, or this location, is we're going to have bi-directional access off of River Street. And this is important because we're going to be able to maintain access from University Ave down Riverside Street to the bus stop, back out Riverside Street to University Ave. Because of this bi-directional access, we're not going to be rerouting buses through the adjacent neighborhoods, and we're more or less going to maintain the existing routes that are there today, therefore minimizing impacts to the adjacent neighborhoods. One of the reasons for selecting this site is pedestrian access and safety. The pedestrian access along Riverside here will be maintained along the perimeter of the site up to the garage. And then we'll have two crossing locations, one located here and one located here at Riverside Street. We're going to have a raised median through the center of the site, and that's going to act as a pedestrian refuge area. We're also going to be able to control pedestrian activity by proposing a raised landscape bed between the lot and the bus stop, and that's going to keep students from crossing through the bus stop, and it's really going to control those access points. So that was one of the things we really liked about this site. One other thing to point out is I'm sure you're going to, the island sticks out to you. The reason for the configuration of this island is because we want to maintain access to the university loading dock located right here. This loading dock is going to have a pedestrian warning system that will be installed. It'll have sensors in the loading dock to notify pedestrians both audibly and visually that a truck is accessing the dock. The center island has also been configured to allow for both the bus vehicles and the delivery trucks as well, for a nice clean access around the site. Some minor things to note: new bike racks at the front of Olney Hall. Bus shelters, benches, and trash cans set up in front of Olney Hall, as well as underneath the Costello Gym overhang. With that, and this is just a blown-up version of the plan you have within the package that focuses on the curb cuts. The existing curb cut located right here today is 54 feet wide. We're going to look to expand that to a 64-foot width as the new entrance into the bus stop, and then we're going to be proposing a new curb cut 66 feet wide as the new exit from the bus stop. These curb cuts have been laid out to make sure that they can accommodate both the buses and delivery trucks, and make sure that when they're turning in from Riverside Street or turning out onto Riverside Street, they don't encroach the opposite lane of traffic, further impacting traffic flow. So that's the reason for the request for the larger curb cuts. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions you might have.
I have no comments or questions at this time, but I'd like to open this up to the public, or anybody wishing to speak on behalf. Any comments? That portion of the public hearing is now closed. I'd like to open it up to my board members. Mike?
I don't have any questions, just a comment. I'm sure everyone will be happy to see the bus stops removed from University Ave now that the new bridge is open, and that's always sort of a hectic area with people crossing outside of the crosswalks to get to a bus on one side or the other. And so it's great that it'll all be, consolidated in this one location. So I'm sure there'll be a few students standing out there on University Ave waiting for a bus till they figure out where the new bus stops are. But so I don't have any questions or any other comments.
Mike, can I address that? We've already come up with a marketing campaign to post while the students are here before they leave for the end of the semester by May, indicating all along University Ave that the new bus stop will be located in the new direction when they return to class.
Great.
Thank you, Mike. Van?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, all I have to say is, this is a good project, and, it's always a good thing when you can consolidate and improve your busing system. UMass Lowell's doing amazing things in the city, so, it's a positive thing for the city as a whole, so thank you.
Thank you, Van. Melissa?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for this great presentation. Really appreciated the visuals. I really appreciate the intention and the thought put into the plans. I really appreciate that the traffic will decrease on University. I really love those alerts for pedestrians. I live near South Campus, so I use it all the time. So I appreciate it. No other questions. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Dennis?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, this is great that we're having this kind of problem that you have to do this, because it really seems to mean that the university is succeeding, and especially the idea of having kids in buses rather than driving around in cars. It's a great thing that they're in shuttles. I really think that's wonderful. I have a few questions, but I just am just so happy that this is happening.
Good.
We are also.
The first question is, you made reference to a pedestrian refuge area on this island. The island's what, 8 feet, 7 feet? How wide is it?
6 feet wide.
6 feet wide. Seems like a rather skimpy refuge area. I'm just wondering what's the intent of a refuge area that narrow? What are you trying to accomplish with that?
Just trying to provide a resting location for the pedestrians as they cross the street. The minimum width of 6 feet will be located out here at the Riverside crossing, but this one that will be heavily used from Riverside lot to the front of the Olney building, that'll be much, much wider, approximately, I'd say 12 feet wide.
Okay, thank you. What's the material? You've got it indicated as though it's a paver kind of material here in 3 different zones, the walkways, and then this turning space for the loading dock.
Yep. The essential materials of the project will be cement concrete sidewalk around the perimeter, new asphalt driveway access, and then the center island will be a stamped concrete material that'll be a brick patterned and brick colored to delineate itself as the center island.
Okay, is the pedestrian walkways also stamped concrete? You've got them indicated the same way.
Yep, I apologize, this plan here is actually an older plan that has since been revised. In working with Eric Eby from the city, one of the things he had pointed out was we had previously shown these as stamped brick as well, and that could be confused if you have stamped brick crosswalks here, here, and here, as well as the center island. The center island could be confused as a pedestrian place for them to congregate, a pedestrian area per se. So we've gone with a more standardized, it's called a thermoplastic marking, 2 feet wide, painted bars to delineate the pedestrian space.
So, have you done anything to provide any tactile kind of surface for visually impaired people?
Yes, we have. All of the little yellow symbols you see on this graphic are all of the detectable warning panels.
The other sidewalk doesn't have that, though? Is that true?
This one here?
Right.
These are actually the city standard which is a brick red detectable warning panel. Those are the detectable warning panels. That's the city standard. And because this area of the project is within the city's layout, we've designed that to meet the city standard.
And again, they're on each edge where that large radius is. You have that surface there. Great.
Yep.
Okay. Could you just explain how the traffic flows as it's exiting? You mentioned a bi-directional kind of aspect here.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Yeah, to expand on that, as part of our evaluation early on in the planning phases, we had actually looked at a potential on the right side of Riverside Street heading northbound. So if you had just a single access northbound on Riverside Street, you would pull into the bus stop and then head up, and you'd have to circulate back through the neighborhoods. So with this design here, if University Ave is down on the floor, you come up University, head up Riverside, access, and then head back out.
It does head back out. Great, great, great. Okay, that's important. Is there a landscaping plan here that I'm seeing for the first time?
We do have a detailed landscaping plan within our bid documents. There will be all new landscaping within the center island here, as well as these two locations. And again, this will be a raised 4-foot-high stone landscape bed. And again, the intention of that is to keep students from coming out of Riverside Lot and meandering across the bus stop. We want to really focus them to the safe pedestrian crossings that we've established.
I only have 2 more questions.
Sure.
Lighting. How are you handling lighting?
Yep, there will be new lighting throughout the limits of the project, and it'll be matched consistent with lights that were just installed over in this area as part of the garage construction. We'll be updating the lighting up to the front, up the steps to the front door to the Olney, as well as along the rear of the Olney to be consistent with the new standard that we've just recently installed.
And that's an LED kind of light fixture that has very little light spillage that goes vertically?
Yep.
So it's a great,
Yep.
great. All right, last one, if I can remember it. Oh, you're losing roughly 15 parking spaces. Is that an issue?
It's not. It's something that we looked at very early on in the planning phases, discussed with the university, and with the new construction of the parking garage, we feel that there will be adequate
That's right.
parking.
I thought that was the answer. Okay, wonderful.
Okay.
Nice job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I must concur with my board members. The presentation, the information is top-notch. The signage, the upgrade of the area, and we're all very familiar with the traffic flow over there and with the increased student body and the growth of the University of Massachusetts at Lowell is wonderful, and that you're participating with DPD in the city to get all these things honed down to what is a very viable plan. And meeting some of the board's questions is something we're always looking for. I do want to read into the record, we did receive an email communication from Deputy Arthur Ryan that he has no concerns for the police department. This plan will assist in traffic flow on University Ave by moving bus stops to the Riverside off-street location. So that's always an asset when the police department echoes the sentiment of the board. Any other questions from any of the board members at this time? May I request a motion?
I'd like to make a motion for ZB 2014-012, a variance for dimensional requirements for 281 Riverside Street without conditions.
May I have a second?
I'll second that.
A roll call, please.
Mr. McCarthy?
Approve?
Mr. Palia?
Approved?
Ms. Carino?
Approved.
Mr. Peck?
Approve.
Mr. Perrin?
Approve. You've been approved unanimously. We wish you the best of luck with the project.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for coming in. Okay, thank you. Next order of business is ZB, under new business, is ZB 2014-13 for a special permit use at 564 Dutton Street. The petitioner seeks a special permit to open a body art establishment pursuant to section 7.3 and Art 12 of the zoning ordinance. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. I'm just here looking for approval to open a body art establishment, like you said, at 564 Dutton Street.
Could you just address the board and give us your name and address, please?
My name is Julio Pastrana. I'm from 103 Windsor Drive in Drake. I was born and raised in Lowell, Massachusetts, and I'm a Lowell firefighter for 13 years. My kids go to the school system. And like I said, I've been tattooing since 2011. Started in Nashua, New Hampshire, at a place called Twist Tattoo. That's where I took my apprenticeship, and I'm still working until I get approved, if I do get approved, to open up an establishment here in Lowell. Went to the Greater Lowell Vogue, took graphic art, so I've been doing art all my life. It's just a different palette that I'm pursuing, and I'm looking to do it more towards a private studio with appointments only, not so much a walk-in like a traditional tattoo shop. And like I said, I work in the Lowell Fire Department, so with that schedule, walk-in wouldn't work for me anyway. So looking to do roughly, just to give you an idea, possibly 6 appointments a week, maybe 8 at best, but no more than that, because I usually concentrate on bigger pieces. So, yeah, that's what I'm looking to do.
Okay. Thank you. Are you in receipt of a letter from the city dated March 28th from Project Summary?
A letter from the city? From March,
From DPD?
That was the comments.
oh, okay, yes, through email, yes.
Okay. Can you just share your thoughts on what is your plan for waste interior and exterior?
We have, on the site, there is a dumpster, which would be most your regular trash. As for the shops, which are the needles and stuff like that, they go into a shop's container, and the containers themselves that get purchased through a company called Unimax out of New York, and it comes with a post stamp to send them back out monthly, and they take care of the disposal. If that answers the questions. Yeah.
Yeah, so your shop's containers will be in your art studio within the tattooing
Correct.
chairs, and
Correct.
You'll place
your
the
traditional,
shops into the shop's biohazard box.
Correct.
You'll then seal it according to standards.
Correct.
And it'll be, did you say U.S. mail?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Any other information you want to provide the board at this time?
No. Any questions?
Okay.
Open to them.
Thank you. I'd like to take this moment to open up this to the public. Anyone wishing to speak on behalf of this petition? That portion of the public hearing is closed. We'll open up to the board members. Mike?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have any questions. I think this is an application that meets all the criteria for a special permit. I think the location is, in an industrial or mixed-use industrial area, and I believe it's a vacant medical office that's leaving.
Correct.
And I know the comments from planning and development where that there will actually be less parking and less traffic because, like you said, of the hours of the business and the number of customers that you might
Correct,
have.
it's, yeah.
So, and also, I think, again, it's another small business starting up in the city. You have some competition, I think, over on Worthen Street.
Yes,
but
correct.
But that would be
Friendly
good.
competition here.
But that's good. To have a
Yes.
couple of studios now in the city
Yeah.
would be good. And I also wanted to suggest to my board members, we all get a ZBA tattoo once the
Yeah.
shop is open. We could all go over there together.
At a
maybe.
discount, of course.
Oh, okay. So, all right. No further comments.
Thank you. Mike Van?
Through you, Mr. Chairman. This is a straightforward application. I think it's always good when, someone that grew up here and lived here the whole life can open up business. I think this business is appropriate for the area. So it's zone light industrial, so it fits in well. And I just had a couple of quick questions. Will you be the only person doing the tattooing, Mr.?
At the moment, yes.
Do you plan to, if the business grows and succeed, and we hope it would,
Yeah.
do you plan on like expanding like service or hiring more people or anything like that?
There is room for one more artist if eventually, business is good and I do grow. And if that's the case, yes, I would look to either grab a licensed artist or start a new one under my license.
Okay. And I know you said that you'll be only doing 6 or 7 appointments a week.
Correct.
So is there like kind of, are you open certain days, like kind
It
of
would
hours
be
of operation?
appointments only because
Okay.
the firefighter schedule I have, it's so random.
Yeah.
I work every fourth day.
Yeah.
So it's literally just by appointments only. It'll be from 9:30, anywhere from 9:30. My last appointment will probably be at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
I still got to go home to the wife and kids.
No, of course.
So,
And thank you for your service with the fire department.
thank you.
So,
Thank you.
Those are all the questions I had. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Van. Melissa?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You had mentioned the waste, the biohazard waste, and how
Correct.
you're sending that back, or you already have a system. Is there any additional waste that you think will happen from the business use? And if so, how are you storing that? Is there another dumpster you're using, or?
No, it's very little waste. The only waste you is really concerned about would be the shops,
Okay.
really. Everything else is your traditional toilet paper and stuff like that, tissue paper.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad Van asked about operating hours. So you see this happening, by appointment only 7 days a week, was that? Or did you say 5? I
Possibly
apologize.
7 days a week,
7 days.
just because, just to fit in the 6 to 8 clients.
Okay. And I know I heard you say your last appointment would be at 6. Does that
Correct.
mean that person would come at 6 and you'd work on their piece?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And usually, roughly how long? I mean, I know it
That
depends
is
on the piece,
so,
but.
yeah, it's so random. Your average would be 2 to 3 hours.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Dennis?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I have a couple of questions here, but thank you for your service first as a firefighter for the city, and I love the excitement of opening new businesses here. So I have a couple of questions. How many square feet will you be taking in the, how much are you renting of the real estate that's there? How big a store is it? How many square feet?
How many square feet? That I'm not 100% sure. It used to be like 2 offices, and then there's a waiting area. So it's not a very large area there. I'd say possibly 900 square feet, if I was to guess.
So if we made a condition for your establishment to be 1,000 square feet or less, would that work for you? I'm just trying to understand, so if this...
So growing, yeah, there's no actually way for me to grow there. It's only that, what I have is what I have. So I couldn't get any bigger than that.
I just think we want to be clear as to what we're giving a special permit for. So I
Yeah.
think a body art studio of 1,000 square feet or less would
That would
be a
work
good
for
way
me.
to define it. Okay.
Absolutely.
And then the hours of operation between 9 to 9, 7 days a week. Would that be?
Yeah, you can say 9 to 9. That would be reasonable.
Reasonable.
It won't be, most likely, it won't be that, but yeah.
Right.
At
Just
worst
wanted
case scenario, 9
Right.
to 9.
Okay. What else did I have? Oh, signage.
Yeah.
What do you anticipate for signage on the facility?
There's 2 existing signs right now, and either above or below it, it's up to the owner of the building. But right, I don't know if you're familiar with the building. There's the Dutton Real Estate, and then the other sign in mine will probably be above it.
But you don't anticipate going in front of the board for a sign?
The sign would be exactly, I guess it's a historical
Yep.
sign, so it's exactly how the other 2 are.
So the signage will fall within current zoning requirements?
Correct.
Yep.
Correct. I guess Mike Signs did them, and he already knows the specs.
Okay. And you said that it's a private studio kind of situation. There's no walk-ins?
Correct.
Okay. Why is that? You have I'm just.
Only for the type of schedule I have.
Oh, okay.
And the way I do it, I'm not comfortable with just, I want this, sketch it out in an hour and draw it on and tattoo it on you. I'd like a couple days to pre-plan
Sounds good.
and actually, come up with a nicer design.
And my last question is, since we're signing up for zoning board tattoos, and you only work on large-scale elements, I'm just a little nervous as to how big an element this really would be.
I can make an exception, but nothing too small.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. I want to echo the sentiments of the council, and thank you for your service as a firefighter in the city of Lowell.
Thank you.
And then opening a business within the city is, it's a 2-base hit as far as I'm concerned. That holds well, dedicating yourself as a business owner and as a firefighter. The only other questions I had is related to employees. Is you're just going to be yourself? It's going to be.
It's going to be myself for now, as if I need a secretary, maybe.
Okay.
I mean, I have my sister that I can always have her do it for free, but as for now,
Okay.
just myself.
Okay, well, we did receive a communication. You are in receipt of the email
Yes.
regarding the signage. We are in communication with the police department from Deputy Arthur Ryan, stating there are no issues identified or concerned to the police department. So just wanted to have that reflective in the record, that you have the support of the Lowell Police Department as well.
I appreciate that.
Dennis, are you looking for any conditions, or are you satisfied with the answers?
I do think that it would be wise to have a few conditions here regarding hours of operation, maximum size of the studio, and then that the signage will fit within the current zoning bylaws.
I
If
agree
that-
with
if
all
that
that,
works.
yeah, absolutely.
You're comfortable with those as conditions?
Yes.
Very well. So at this time, I request a motion.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion for ZB 2014-013, special permit regarding the property located at 564 Dutton Street. First condition is that the studio will have an area not to exceed 1,000 square feet. The second condition is that the hours of operation will be between the hours of 9 a.m. and 9 p.m., Saturday to Sunday, or I'm sorry, Sunday to Saturday,
Correct.
7 days a week. And that the third condition is that the new signage for the studio will fall within the current zoning requirements.
May I have a second?
Second the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And a roll call.
Ms. McCarthy?
Approve with conditions.
Mr. Peck?
Approve the conditions.
Ms. Carino?
Approve with conditions.
Mr. Palia?
Approved with conditions.
Mr. Perrin?
Approve with conditions. Okay, so you've been approved. We wish you the best
Thank
of
you, I
luck with your new
appreciate it.
business. Thank you for coming in.
We'll make our appointment soon.
Yeah?
Okay. That being said, Joe, do we have any other business in front of us tonight?
No other business, Mr.
No
Chairman.
other business? That being said, I make a motion to adjourn.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
I'll second that.
Meeting's adjourned. Have a good night.